Okay, in this second video on budgeting, we're going to talk about the labor and the variable overhead budget. And it turns out these are a little bit easier because you can't inventory labor, and we don't consider inventorying variable overhead per se. So, because a lot of variable overhead is people costs, like maintenance and janitorial service and things like that. So, so let's say we go back to our production. If you remember, we did our production budget. We had 9,600, 8,200, and 9,400 January, February, and March. So I brought those over here. And let's suppose that it takes 6 hours of direct manufacturing, of direct labor to manufacture each one of these. So the first thing that we do is we just multiply each of these by 6. Right? And when we do that, we get 57,600. 8,200 by 6 is 49,200, and 9,400 times 6. Oops. It is 56,400. All right, so that's hours, right? So then we have to take our average wage rate. Now, our average wage rate is going to include not only what we pay them and shows up on their thing, right? But it's going to include our share of the Social Security. Remember, with Social Security, the employee pays half and the employer pays half. So we have to match what's taken out of their paycheck for Social Security. So it's going to include that. But it's also going to include things like our estimate for sick days and vacation days coming up, plus any retirement plan, any contribution that we make towards an employee's retirement plan or health insurance, that sort of thing. Is going to be included in this pay rate. So even if you're talking, very low wage rate, the wage rate that you put here is going to be a little bit higher. And let's just keep the math easy and say $20 an hour for this. And so that would be 1,128,000 there. $984,000 here, and is 1,152,000. And so that's all there is to the labor budget. That's it. All right. All we have to do. Okay. Then on the variable overhead, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take the 9,600 units, the 8,200 units, and the 9,400 units, and we're going to multiply it by our variable overhead rate. If we do it by direct labor hours, if we apply it by direct labor hours, we can go to this. If we can back it to units, that's fine. Most people apply by direct labor hours, so let's use that. And let's say our variable manufacturing overhead is $3 per hour. And so that would be 172,800. $147,600. And 169,200. Okay. And so that's how much we're going to spend for variable manufacturing overhead. That's all there is to these two budgets. So those are pretty easy and straightforward.